If you're over 60 and love coffee but have been told you need to give it up because of stomach problems, what I am about to reveal will change everything you thought you knew about coffee and digestive health. The truth is, coffee itself is not the enemy of your stomach. The real problem is that 90% of people over 60 are drinking coffee in ways that practically guarantee stomach irritation, acid reflux, and inflammation. After years of studying digestive health and examining hundreds of documented cases, I have discovered that there are 5 specific mistakes older adults make with their morning coffee that destroy their stomach lining. And I am going to show you exactly how to enjoy your favorite beverage without pain, burning, or discomfort ever again. Before we dive deeper, I need to be completely transparent with you. This channel provides educational content only and does not constitute medical advice. Everything shared here is designed to inform and empower you, but it should never replace guidance from a qualified healthcare professional. Always consult with your doctor before making any changes to your diet, health routine, or lifestyle. Your physician understands your specific medical history and can provide personalized recommendations tailored to your unique needs. Now, here is something that most doctors will not tell you, and it is information that could save you from years of unnecessary suffering. Coffee contains over 1,000 different chemical compounds, many of which have powerful effects on your digestive system. Some of these compounds are incredibly beneficial, protecting your cells from damage, reducing inflammation throughout your body, and even lowering your risk of certain diseases. But other compounds, when consumed the wrong way or at the wrong time, can trigger excessive acid production, weaken the valve between your stomach and esophagus, irritate your stomach lining, and create the perfect environment for gastritis and ulcers to develop. The fascinating part is that by making just a few simple adjustments to how, when, and what type of coffee you drink, you can keep all the benefits while eliminating almost all the negative effects on your stomach. Let me introduce you to Helen, a 74-year-old retired teacher who absolutely loved her morning coffee ritual. For 40 years, she started every single day with a large cup of strong black coffee on an empty stomach, believing this was the best way to wake up and get her day started. But over the past 5 years, Helen developed severe stomach pain, constant heartburn, and a burning sensation that made her afraid to eat breakfast. Her doctor diagnosed her with chronic gastritis and told her she needed to stop drinking coffee completely. Helen was devastated. That morning cup of coffee was not just about caffeine for her. It was a cherished ritual, a moment of peace before the day began, and the thought of giving it up felt like losing a dear friend. When Helen discovered the protocol I'm about to share with you, everything changed. She learned that she did not have to give up coffee at all. She just needed to drink it differently. Within 3 weeks of implementing these 5 changes, her stomach pain decreased by 80%, her heartburn disappeared, and she was able to enjoy her beloved morning coffee again without any negative consequences. Your stomach is an incredibly sophisticated organ with a delicate balance of acid, enzymes, and a protective mucus lining that shields the stomach wall from damage. As we age, several changes occur that make our stomachs more vulnerable to irritation. First, stomach acid production naturally decreases after age 60, which might sound like it would reduce acid-related problems, but actually creates new issues because lower acid levels mean slower digestion and increased susceptibility to bacterial overgrowth. Second, the protective mucus layer that coats your stomach becomes thinner with age, leaving your stomach wall more exposed to irritants. Third, the lower esophageal sphincter, the muscular valve that prevents stomach contents from flowing back into your esophagus, often weakens with age, making acid reflux more likely. When you add coffee into this equation without understanding how it affects these age-related changes, you are setting yourself up for serious digestive problems. Coffee stimulates the production of gastrin, a hormone that signals your stomach to produce more acid. It also relaxes the lower esophageal sphincter, making reflux more likely. Additionally, certain compounds in coffee, particularly chlorogenic acids and caffeine, can directly irritate the stomach lining if consumed under the wrong conditions. But here is the key insight that changes everything. These effects are dramatically influenced by when you drink your coffee, what you drink it with, how it is prepared, and even the temperature at which you consume it. Get these factors right, and coffee can actually support digestive health rather than harm it. Get them wrong, and you are inflaming your stomach with every sip. Research published in the Journal of Gastroenterology has shown that coffee consumption on an empty stomach increases gastric acid secretion by up to 60% within just 15 minutes. For someone with a healthy young stomach lining, this might not be a problem. But for someone over 60 with a thinner mucus layer and potentially compromised stomach protection, this surge of acid with no food to buffer it can cause significant irritation and inflammation. Another study found that people who drank coffee first thing in the morning before eating had a 47% higher incidence of gastroesophageal reflux disease compared to those who consumed coffee with or after food. These are not small differences. They represent the distinction between enjoying coffee comfortably and suffering with chronic digestive problems. Now, I promised I would reveal the 5 critical mistakes. And if you are still watching, you are about to discover information that could transform your relationship with coffee forever. But before we continue, I want to make sure you do not miss any future content that could help you live more comfortably and enjoy the foods and beverages you love without digestive distress. If you are finding value in this information, and you appreciate straightforward science-based guidance that actually works, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel right now. This is a community of people who refuse to accept that getting older means giving up the things they enjoy. We are learning how to work with our bodies, not against them, and I would be honored to have you join us on this journey. Click that subscribe button, and let's continue discovering practical solutions together. Mistake number 5 is something that almost every coffee lover over 60 does, without realizing how damaging it is. Drinking coffee first thing in the morning on an empty stomach is one of the worst possible times to consume this beverage if you want to protect your digestive system. When you wake up in the morning, your stomach has been empty for 8 to 10 hours. The protective mucus layer is at its thinnest, and your stomach lining is essentially bare and vulnerable. The moment coffee hits your empty stomach, several things happen simultaneously. The caffeine and chlorogenic acids stimulate massive acid production. The coffee itself, which has a pH of about 4.8 to 5.1, depending on how it is brewed, adds additional acidity to your stomach. Your stomach, detecting this sudden influx of liquid and acid, ramps up gastrin production, creating even more hydrochloric acid. All of this acid has nothing to work on except your unprotected stomach lining. Let me tell you about James, a 67-year-old man who prided himself on his disciplined morning routine. He would wake at 6 in the morning, immediately brew a strong pot of coffee, and drink 2 large cups while reading the news, all before eating anything. James had been doing this for decades, and he thought his stomach problems were just an inevitable part of aging. He experienced constant gnawing pain in his upper abdomen, frequent burping, and a sour taste in his mouth that persisted throughout the morning. When James finally had an endoscopy, his gastroenterologist found significant gastric erosion and inflammation consistent with chronic gastritis. The doctor told him to stop drinking coffee, but James could not imagine starting his day without it. When James learned about proper coffee timing, he made one simple change. Instead of drinking coffee first thing on an empty stomach, he started his morning with a small, protein-rich breakfast. Just 2 scrambled eggs with a slice of whole-grain toast. Nothing elaborate. He ate this breakfast slowly, giving his stomach about 30 minutes to begin the digestive process, and produce that protective mucus layer. Only then did he pour his coffee and enjoy it while his stomach was protected by food. The transformation was remarkable. Within 2 weeks, James noticed a dramatic reduction in stomach pain. Within a month, his burning sensation was gone, and he could enjoy his coffee without any discomfort whatsoever. His follow-up endoscopy 6 months later showed significant healing of his stomach lining. The science behind this is clear and compelling. When you eat food before drinking coffee, several protective mechanisms activate. Food stimulates mucus production, creating a barrier between your stomach lining and the acidic coffee. Food buffers the acid that coffee stimulates, preventing pH levels from dropping too low. Protein in particular triggers the release of hormones that regulate acid production more carefully. And the physical presence of food in your stomach slows down gastric emptying, meaning the coffee does not pass through your system as quickly and intensely. Studies have shown that consuming even a small amount of protein-rich food before coffee can reduce acid-related symptoms by up to 70% compared to drinking coffee on an empty stomach. The protocol I recommend is straightforward. When you wake up, wait at least 30 minutes before having coffee. During this time, drink a glass of room-temperature water to rehydrate after sleep. Then eat a small breakfast that includes some protein and healthy fat. Good options include eggs, Greek yogurt with nuts, oatmeal with almond butter, or a slice of whole-grain toast with avocado. After you have eaten and given your stomach 15 to 20 minutes to start digesting, then enjoy your coffee. This simple timing change protects your stomach lining, reduces acid production, and allows you to continue enjoying coffee without negative consequences. But timing is just the beginning. Mistake number 4 involves the type of coffee you are drinking, and this one surprises most people because they assume all coffee is basically the same. The roast level, brewing method, and even the origin of your coffee beans have a massive impact on how irritating coffee is to your stomach. Dark roasted coffee, which many people prefer for its bold, rich flavor, actually contains higher levels of compounds that stimulate acid production and irritate the stomach lining. The longer coffee beans are roasted, the more certain protective compounds break down, while harsh, irritating compounds become more concentrated. I want to share the story of Maria, 72 years old, who switched from her regular medium roast coffee to a dark French roast because she loved the stronger flavor. Within 2 months of making this switch, Maria developed severe acid reflux and stomach pain that she had never experienced before. She assumed it was just her age or perhaps something else she was eating, never connecting it to the coffee roast change. When Maria switched to a light roast coffee and changed her brewing method from a traditional coffee maker to cold brew, her symptoms improved dramatically within just 1 week. She could not believe that such a simple change in the type and preparation of coffee could make such a significant difference. Research has identified that light roasted coffee contains higher levels of chlorogenic acid lactones, compounds that actually help reduce stomach acid secretion and protect the stomach lining. Dark roasted coffee, on the other hand, has higher levels of N-methylpyridinium, a compound that increases stomach acid production. A study published in the Journal of Molecular Nutrition and Food Research found that dark roasted coffee stimulated significantly more gastric acid secretion compared to light or medium roasts. For someone with a sensitive stomach or gastritis, this difference can mean the distinction between comfortable coffee consumption and painful irritation. Additionally, the brewing method matters tremendously. Traditional drip coffee and espresso extract more acidic compounds and oils from the coffee grounds compared to cold brew, or methods that use lower temperatures. Cold brew coffee, which is made by steeping coffee grounds in cold water for 12 to 24 hours, produces a beverage that is up to 67% less acidic than hot brewed coffee. The cold water extraction process pulls out fewer of the harsh, irritating compounds while still delivering caffeine and beneficial antioxidants. For people over 60 with sensitive stomachs, cold brew can be a game changer, allowing them to enjoy coffee without the acid spike that hot brewing creates. Another consideration is the quality and processing of the coffee beans themselves. Lower quality coffee often contains higher levels of mold and mycotoxins, compounds that can irritate the digestive system and trigger inflammation. Additionally, coffee that has been sitting on store shelves for months loses its beneficial compounds while retaining irritating ones. Choosing high-quality, freshly roasted coffee from reputable sources, ideally organic to avoid pesticide residues, can significantly reduce digestive irritation. Look for coffee that has been roasted within the past 2 to 4 weeks for optimal freshness and lower irritation potential. The protocol I recommend for choosing stomach-friendly coffee is this: select light to medium roast coffee rather than dark roasts. Consider switching to cold brew, especially if you have active stomach issues. Choose high-quality, organic coffee beans when possible. Store your coffee in an airtight container away from light and heat to preserve freshness. And experiment with different origins and varieties, as some people find that certain types of coffee, such as low-acid varieties from Brazil or Indonesia, are gentler on their stomachs than others. Now we are getting to the heart of the matter, and what I am about to reveal next might completely change how you prepare your coffee every single morning. Mistake number 3 is drinking black coffee when your stomach needs protection and support. While black coffee has become popular in certain health and diet circles, for someone over 60 with a sensitive stomach or any history of gastritis or reflux, black coffee is often too harsh and irritating to consume comfortably. The solution is not to give up coffee, but to add the right ingredients that buffer acidity, provide protective fats, and support digestive health. Let me tell you about Richard, 69 years old, who had been a black coffee purist his entire adult life. He believed that adding anything to coffee ruined the flavor and added unnecessary calories. But Richard's stomach problems became so severe that he was seriously considering giving up coffee entirely. The burning pain after his morning coffee was unbearable, and antacids only provided temporary relief. When Richard reluctantly agreed to try adding certain ingredients to his coffee, specifically a tablespoon of grass-fed butter, or ghee, and a teaspoon of coconut oil, he was shocked by the results. Not only did his stomach pain disappear, but he actually felt more energized and satisfied throughout the morning. The healthy fats in the butter and coconut oil created a protective coating in his stomach, buffered the acidity of the coffee, and slowed the absorption of caffeine, preventing the jittery feeling and subsequent crash he used to experience. The science behind adding fat to coffee for stomach protection is well established. Fats stimulate the production of cholecystokinin, a hormone that signals your stomach to produce more protective mucus. Fats coat the stomach lining, creating a physical barrier between acidic coffee and your stomach wall. Fats slow down gastric emptying, meaning the coffee stays in your stomach longer but in a more controlled, less irritating way. And fats help neutralize some of the acidic compounds in coffee, raising the pH slightly and making it less harsh. Studies have shown that consuming fat with acidic beverages reduces esophageal acid exposure by up to 40% compared to consuming the beverages alone. Beyond healthy fats, there are other additions that can make coffee more stomach-friendly. A small amount of cinnamon not only adds flavor but also has anti-inflammatory properties and helps regulate blood sugar, preventing the insulin spike that can sometimes occur with coffee consumption. Cinnamon also helps reduce acid reflux by tightening the lower esophageal sphincter. Collagen powder is another excellent addition, providing amino acids like glycine and proline that support the integrity of your stomach lining and promote healing of any existing damage. Some people find that adding a pinch of sea salt to their coffee reduces bitterness and acidity while providing trace minerals. And for those who tolerate dairy, a splash of whole milk or cream can provide similar protective benefits to butter or coconut oil. One important note about what not to add to your coffee. Artificial creamers, which are common in many households, often contain inflammatory vegetable oils, added sugars, and artificial flavors that can actually increase stomach irritation. Sugar itself, especially in large amounts, can promote acid reflux by relaxing the lower esophageal sphincter and feeding harmful bacteria in the gut. If you enjoy sweet coffee, consider using a small amount of raw honey or stevia instead, both of which are gentler on the digestive system. The protocol I recommend is to experiment with adding 1 tablespoon of grass-fed butter, ghee, or coconut oil to your coffee. You can blend it for a creamy, frothy texture or simply stir it in. Start with this basic addition and see how your stomach responds. Many people notice an immediate difference in comfort level. If you want additional benefits, add a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and consider including a scoop of collagen powder. This combination creates a nourishing, stomach-protective beverage that provides sustained energy without the crash or digestive discomfort that black coffee often causes. And if you are enjoying this information and starting to see how these simple changes could help you continue enjoying coffee without stomach problems, I want to invite you to become a regular part of this community. Subscribing to this channel means you will receive ongoing guidance about digestive health, practical strategies for aging comfortably, and evidence-based information that empowers you to make informed decisions about your health. This is not about quick fixes or miracle cures. It is about understanding how your body works and making intelligent adjustments that support long-term well-being. If that resonates with you, please subscribe now and join thousands of others who are taking control of their digestive health naturally. Now let's move to mistake number 2. And this involves something that most people do not even think about, but that has a huge impact on how coffee affects your stomach. The temperature at which you drink your coffee can be the difference between comfortable enjoyment and painful irritation. Extremely hot coffee, the kind that burns your tongue and makes you wait several minutes before taking a sip, causes several problems for your digestive system. First, very hot liquids can damage the delicate mucous membrane that lines your esophagus and stomach, creating microscopic injuries that accumulate over time and increase inflammation. Second, hot beverages cause your stomach to produce more acid in response to the temperature change. And third, drinking coffee that is too hot often means gulping it down quickly once it cools slightly, rather than sipping it slowly and mindfully. I want to introduce you to Dorothy, 76 years old, who loved her coffee piping hot, straight from the coffee maker. She would pour it into her cup and drink it as soon as it was cool enough not to burn her mouth severely, usually when it was still around 180 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. Dorothy suffered with chronic esophageal irritation and stomach inflammation for years. Her doctor suspected she might be developing Barrett's esophagus, a precancerous condition often caused by chronic acid exposure. When Dorothy learned about the importance of coffee temperature and began letting her coffee cool to around 130 to 140 degrees before drinking it, and then sipping it slowly, rather than consuming it quickly, her symptoms improved remarkably. Her follow-up endoscopy showed reduced inflammation, and her doctor was impressed with the healing that had occurred. Research has demonstrated that beverages consumed at temperatures above 149 degrees Fahrenheit significantly increase the risk of esophageal damage and are classified as a probable carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. A study from China found that people who regularly consumed very hot beverages had a 90% increased risk of esophageal cancer compared to those who drank beverages at moderate temperatures. While cancer is an extreme outcome, the inflammation and damage that hot beverages cause on a daily basis contributes to chronic digestive discomfort and impaired healing. For someone over 60 whose tissues are already more fragile, and heal more slowly, drinking extremely hot coffee is particularly problematic. The optimal temperature for drinking coffee is between 130 and 150 degrees Fahrenheit. This is warm enough to be enjoyable and comforting, but not so hot that it causes tissue damage or triggers excessive acid production. To achieve this, you can either let your coffee sit for 5 to 10 minutes after brewing, use a temperature-controlled mug or thermos, or add your healthy fats or cream, which will naturally cool the coffee slightly. Drinking your coffee slowly, taking small sips, and enjoying the experience rather than rushing through it also supports better digestion and reduces the likelihood of acid reflux. Additionally, the speed at which you consume coffee matters. Drinking coffee quickly floods your stomach with liquid, causing rapid distension and triggering a surge of acid production. Sipping coffee slowly over 20 to 30 minutes allows your stomach to process it gradually, maintaining a more stable pH and reducing irritation. This mindful approach to coffee consumption also increases your enjoyment and awareness of the flavors, turning your morning coffee from a rushed caffeine delivery system into a pleasant, health-supporting ritual. And now we arrive at the number one mistake, the most critical error that is causing stomach problems for coffee-loving adults over 60. And this revelation might surprise you because it goes against common advice you have probably heard. The number one mistake is drinking too much coffee, specifically more than 1 or 2 cups per day. While coffee has numerous health benefits, including antioxidants, improved cognitive function, and reduced risk of certain diseases, these benefits follow a hormetic curve, meaning that a moderate amount is beneficial but too much becomes harmful, especially for digestive health in older adults. Your body metabolizes caffeine more slowly as you age. What used to be completely manageable when you were 40 or 50 might now be overstimulating your nervous system and digestive tract. A study published in the British Journal of Clinical Pharmacology found that caffeine clearance decreases by up to 33% in adults over 65 compared to younger adults. This means that the caffeine from your morning coffee is still circulating in your system well into the afternoon, continuing to stimulate acid production and potentially interfering with your sleep, which in turn affects digestive healing and repair processes that occur during deep sleep. Let me share the experience of Thomas, 71 years old, who was drinking 4 to 5 cups of coffee throughout the day. He started with 2 cups in the morning, had another cup after lunch, and often enjoyed an afternoon coffee while reading or watching television. Thomas had severe chronic gastritis, frequent heartburn, anxiety, and insomnia. He never connected his excessive coffee consumption to these problems because he had been drinking this much coffee for 30 years without issue. But as his body aged and his metabolism slowed, what used to be tolerable became toxic. When Thomas reduced his coffee intake to just 1 cup in the morning, prepared according to the guidelines we have discussed, his life transformed. His gastritis healed, his sleep improved, his anxiety decreased, and he actually felt more energized throughout the day because he was no longer experiencing the caffeine roller coaster of spikes and crashes. The research on coffee quantity and digestive health is clear. 1 to 2 cups of coffee per day is associated with health benefits and minimal digestive issues for most people. 3 or more cups per day significantly increases the risk of acid reflux, gastritis, and sleep disturbances, especially in older adults. A large study involving over 8,000 participants found that people who consumed more than 3 cups of coffee daily had twice the incidence of gastroesophageal reflux disease compared to those who consumed 1 cup or less. The dose makes the poison, and with coffee, more is definitely not better when it comes to digestive health. Beyond quantity, the timing of your last cup of coffee is crucial. Caffeine has a half-life of 5 to 6 hours in adults, longer in older individuals. This means that if you drink coffee at 3 in the afternoon, Half of that caffeine is still in your system at 9 at night, potentially interfering with sleep quality. Poor sleep prevents your body from producing adequate melatonin and growth hormone, both of which are essential for repairing and regenerating your stomach lining overnight. Additionally, caffeine consumed late in the day continues stimulating acid production into the evening, increasing the risk of nighttime reflux and sleep disturbances. The protocol I recommend is to limit coffee consumption to 1 or 2 cups maximum per day. Have your coffee in the morning or early afternoon, but avoid any caffeine after 2 in the afternoon. If you currently drink more than this amount, reduce gradually over 1 to 2 weeks to avoid caffeine withdrawal headaches. Replace additional cups of coffee with herbal teas that support digestive health, such as ginger tea, chamomile tea, or licorice root tea. These alternatives provide warmth and comfort without the acid stimulation and sleep disruption that excess coffee causes. Now let me bring all of this together into a simple, actionable protocol that you can implement starting tomorrow morning. First, never drink coffee on an empty stomach. Always eat a small protein-rich breakfast first, and wait 15 to 20 minutes before having coffee. Second, choose light to medium roast coffee or experiment with cold brew to reduce acidity. Third, add healthy fats like grass-fed butter, ghee, or coconut oil to protect your stomach lining and buffer acidity. Fourth, let your coffee cool to a comfortable drinking temperature, around 130 to 140 degrees, and sip it slowly over 20 to 30 minutes. And fifth, limit yourself to 1 or 2 cups per day, consumed before 2 in the afternoon. By following this protocol, you can continue enjoying coffee while protecting your digestive system and supporting overall health. You do not have to give up this beloved beverage. You just need to be smarter about how you consume it. Remember, the goal is not perfection, but progress. Start with 1 or 2 changes, see how your body responds, and gradually incorporate all 5 principles. Most people notice significant improvement within the first week, with continued benefits as their stomach lining heals over the following weeks and months. I also encourage you to pay attention to other factors that support digestive health. Managing stress through deep breathing, meditation, or gentle exercise reduces acid production and inflammation. Getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night allows your body to repair and regenerate stomach tissues. Avoiding other known stomach irritants like alcohol, spicy foods, and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs gives your digestive system the best chance to heal. And staying properly hydrated with water between meals supports the production of protective stomach mucus. If you are currently taking medications for acid reflux or gastritis, do not stop them without consulting your doctor. The information I have shared is meant to complement medical treatment, not replace it. However, many people find that by implementing these coffee drinking strategies, they are able to reduce their dependence on acid-blocking medications over time under proper medical supervision. Your doctor will appreciate your proactive approach to supporting your digestive health naturally. Before we close, I want to extend one final invitation. If this information has been valuable to you, if you can see how these simple changes might help you or someone you love continue enjoying coffee without digestive distress, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel. Your subscription helps us reach more people who need this information, and it ensures you will receive future videos covering other important topics related to digestive health and aging well. This community is built on people like you who care about their health and want practical, science-based solutions they can implement immediately. Join us by subscribing now, and let's continue this journey together. I also want to hear from you. Have you been making any of these 5 coffee mistakes? What changes are you planning to implement first? Have you noticed connections between your coffee habits and digestive symptoms? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to feel encouraged and empowered to make changes in their own life. Building a supportive community where we learn from each other is one of the most valuable aspects of this channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And thank you for taking your health seriously enough to seek out this information. Coffee is one of life's simple pleasures, and you deserve to enjoy it without pain or discomfort. By making these adjustments, you are honoring your body, supporting your digestive system, and setting yourself up for better health and greater enjoyment in the years ahead. Here is to your health, to great tasting coffee, and to a stomach that feels comfortable and happy. See you in the next video.